Hey guys, Marshall from Going Gear. I'm here at Olight in China, and I'm here in the testing room. I showed you an office tour and I talked about what's going on in this room a little bit, but like I said in the other video, one of the biggest questions we get is, are the specifications real? When they say it's 1,000 lumens, is it really 1,000 lumens? Do they do the water testing? Do they do the battery testing? And I can't say the same for all the other manufacturers because I haven't been to their factories, but I can say that Olight does do all that stuff because it's all in the room right here. You can see the equipment, and we're going to show you the equipment and show you what everything does, how they actually test their flashlights. And again, like I said in the other video, this is just what they have at their offices. This isn't even the factory. They have more equipment there. So we have Mr. Xiao, who is one of the testing engineers here, and he is going to walk us through everything. I'm going to do the talking because his English is about the same as my Chinese. So we are going to start with the integrating sphere, this big massive thing, how they test lumens and a bunch of other stuff. So let's watch. Let's see what he does. So you open this giant thing up and you've got pure white on the inside. You can see down in there, he sets the flashlight down. Obviously some sensors and some calibration equipment in there. Closes it back up. This is part of it too. And then you've got the computer down there that will show everything. So he has the light in there and he is running the computer program that I can read the numbers. I can't read any of the text, but it's going to show us a bunch of different information. I know I can see lumens in there. It's got information about the wavelength up there, milliwatts something, but you can see a ton of different information in there just showing what the light is producing, what the light that is coming out of the flashlight actually is. So they actually do this, again, for a lot of different models, or a lot of different versions of each model, just to make sure it's consistent across each flashlight model. So not only do they test their flashlights, they also test the batteries to make sure that they have accurate ratings and what the manufacturer of the battery says is accurate. So they have a battery tester here that can test the voltage, it can test the amperage, it'll test the runtime of the battery, it'll test the capacity, and you can see that they have the connections to test all the different standard, or relatively standard, 18650s and 26650s. But you can see down here they also have the connections to test the LiPo battery packs, the lithium polymer battery packs that they use in some of their headlamps and some other products. You can see they have the ability to test that as well. And then that information goes to the same computer that we looked at for the integrating sphere. A bunch of different ones that they can run through here. It's pretty cool to see that not only do they test their products, they also test what's coming from battery manufacturers and things like that to make sure that all their claims are accurate. So the next thing we have over here is the giant tank of water to test their waterproof rating. So when you say IPX8, I forget what the actual specification is, it's something like 30 minutes for 1 hour, or 30 minutes at 1 meter, or something along those lines. So you can see they've just got this giant tank of water that they drop the flashlights down in. They've got a cage. They've got a cage that's dripping that they put the flashlights in. Maybe we can get him. Can they show it? We're going to get him to show it. Hang on a second. So he's got the flashlights in the cage. Nice little step ladder that he climbs up on, and he's going to drop them down in there. You can see that they're on, because what's the point of a flashlight immersion test if you can't actually see the flashlights are on? Because how do you know they're waterproof? So he's dropping them all the way down in there. And then how long does he leave them in?
4 hours.
4 hours. So they leave them in there for 4 hours just to verify that the flashlights that they say are waterproof or water resistant actually are. So what's next? We have the temperature and humidity testing. So this was pretty interesting. I didn't know they did this kind of stuff either. This is all a revelation to me. I knew they did testing, I didn't know that they had this extent of it. So these two machines here do temperature and humidity testing just to see what the flashlights can handle. You know, how high and low the temperatures that they can handle, what kind of humidity they can handle. You can see the information readout showing what's going on in there currently right now. So 50 degrees Celsius, that's not Fahrenheit, that's 50 degrees Celsius. So it's pretty darn hot in there, 100% humidity. So you basically just got a hot, swampy environment in there just to show what the flashlight can handle. And it looks like that is, I don't know what flashlight that is. I think that's one of their prototypes. Looks like a new version of the S1R, maybe M1R, but they've got looks like a prototype in there, just testing it. And then we've got a couple in here. Looks like they're doing the cold testing, so you're at negative 19 degrees Celsius in this one right now, showing the flashlight performance. And again, they have the flashlights on, just to make sure that they actually perform under the specifications that they say that they're going to perform. So let's see, what do we have over here? This one I like. They've got a remote control for this one. So they have impact rating. So we've got an R50 in there. You can see it's just beat to crap because it's been dropped a whole lot of times. And they're going to show us it being dropped. He's got a remote, and there you go. They do that with all their models to make sure that when they say it's rated for a meter, it really can handle a meter, or 2 meters, what it looks like from this. So they turn it on and just do that over and over and over to see what kind of abuse these lights can take. And they said what this thing does, and I didn't really understand it. So we're going to see what this does. Oh, the lights are inside it. That makes a lot more sense. I only saw this part before. So they have the lights inside there, and they just tumble it over and over. Looks like roughly a meter in there that it's dropping each time. And then I guess it counts, or they use this to show how many times they're going to do it. And they just do this over and over and over. Oh, here's your counter. There's your counter, showing how many times they've done it. And then the total testing of how many times they want to do it, just to see how many times it can handle impacts at these different distances. So it just runs and beats up flashlights all day long. This was pretty interesting too. So this one shows the button pressing. So it'll show how many times the button presses, or the buttons can be pressed before failing. And you've got the counters showing how many times it's going. I don't think they have the counters running right now, just because they're doing this for my benefit, because I asked them to set all this stuff up. But they just press the buttons on the flashlights over and over and over and over to show how many times it can handle having the button being pressed, because that's another important thing. The flashlight you're using on a daily basis, you don't want the button to give out. So this tests that. And then over here we have a whole bunch of runtime testers. So they put the lights on there. That's an upcoming prototype. We'll have a more extended video on this is I can't remember what they said the final name is going to be, HSR, I want to say, but they're testing the run times at the different levels. So they just leave them turned on. They have some plotting software showing the run times, and they have all the light meters. They can test everything. So they can test 9 units at once. So this is where they test the run times. And then over here they have some electronics equipment doing, what is he doing? I don't know what he is doing. Looks like he's testing the charging on it. Electrical performance test, that's what the sign says, electrical performance test. So it looks like he's testing the charging capability of some upcoming lights, some prototypes in there. Just again, making sure that the quality is there, that the claims are what they say they are, and how everything performs. So this is another testing area. I guess this is where they test the prototypes that were made in that other room that we saw. And this machine, I don't know what it does. I don't know what this one does. What does this one do? So I found out what this machine is. It's just a drill press. They put a drill in it, or a drill bit in it, and made it really obvious. But they don't use this for testing. They just didn't have any room in the rest of the building for it. So they put it in here. It has nothing to do with testing. But still, I wanted to know what it was because it's in the testing room. So they normally do this when it's completely dark in here, but it's really bright outside right now. It's about noon here in China, so we can't get rid of all the light. But just to show you what they do, this is where they test beam distance. So he's got a lux meter over there. You got the flashlight on a tripod, and they measure the intensity of the beam at the different spots. And this is how they measure beam distance. They use that to measure the lux. You can see the light meter that he's got over there, taking some nice measurements. So that is the Olight testing room. Big thanks to the engineers in here for humoring me and showing me what all of this equipment does. Really neat stuff. I wanted to see it for myself. I wanted to see if the claims were true also. They say they test the stuff, so it's really nice to see that they really do. They test everything that they make. They test the batteries they get from their suppliers, and they have some really nice equipment to do it. So that's it. That's the Olight testing room. We are going to go to the factory next, and we're going to show you how flashlights are made. I hear that we're even going to get to put together a flashlight ourselves. Jesse and I are going to put together some i3Es, so that's really cool. They have some diagrams that we're going to be able to follow, hopefully, put together our own flashlights, and then we'll watch some other flashlights being made as well. So keep an eye out for that video. Thanks for watching. Thank you to Olight.